Good evening, everyone. This is Chess with Ashley, and this is a game that my fellow follower actually wanted to play, and I accepted the challenge as someone who is 1,500. He's basically looking to learn from myself, and here I'm doing a video for him and other people in and around the rating to explain exactly what I am seeing from my own perspective that is different to what he's seeing. So, without further ado, let's just go into it. Now, d4 for my opponent, absolutely fine. Standard book move. d5 is a standard book move. This is another standard book move. I play the move e6. Not the best move, but it's an okay move. The reason why I say not the best move because I blocked in the development bishop, but I do open up this diagonal. Now, there is a very clear plan here going on. My main plan is to go with the knight onto there and hop into there with the knight and check me and take a rook in the corner. It's a very famous chess trick. Lots of people do fall for it at lower elos, but it won't work against someone of my rating. So there's three ways of I can stop this I can think of. The first one, you put the bishop over onto the d6 square. You trade off with the queen. Right, queen, you don't want to have double pawn on the same file. Your second option is you simply stick that up there so the knight can't jump. And the other one is you pin like this. And the one that I went for is the pin. And the reason I went for the pin is just so that could just be awkward and never really move. Now, my mate's next move, I am not a fan of. I understand why he did it. So the point of this is for Mame is because he wants to castle. That's the simple truth. And the reason why I'm not a fan of it is because this knight definitely can never move now. 100% cannot move because if it moves, you jump, you're just taking the queen straight up. So I'm definitely not a fan of this move. And I'm also not a fan of it because of the lack of scope on this, if I'm honest. And what I mean by scope is here, if Mame had decided to do something like that, you have a better scope with the queen. And you also open up this bishop. So Mame's moved with that anyway. So his idea is to castle. Now, this here comes in and I'm just developing a piece. And the reason why I'm developing a piece is because you want a foothold of these squares here. If you control these squares, you win the game 9 times out of 10 in chess. Now, Mame does this, basically copying what I'm doing. I've got a pin, he's got a pin. But a stronger move for Mame here would be to go there with the view to, now you might say, why? Because you're stopping the development of your knight. You are absolutely correct. The idea behind that is if I was to play a move, let's just play one, you're trying to break up that centre, you're trying to get a foothold at a game. And you're also opening up the scope for this bishop. And all of a sudden, I'd have to think about it at that point. But Mame doesn't really see this. Instead, he does that. And I'm just going to castle. Mame castles. Now, the difference between mine and his castling is that there is less of a gap in my structure. Obviously, the gap is quite wide over here, and I'm quite close together. There's nothing too much difference other than the fact that I've got more pawns towards the centre and off the starting square. Now, I develop another knight to cover this knight, and with the view to pushing on there and getting the queen out of the pin. Mame's next move is this, queen to the d3 square. Now, a lot of better players will say this is not a great move. I understand the point. Mame just simply is looking to unpin himself. He's now saying to himself, I can move that knight, which he can. However, a better move for Mame would have been something like either this or doing what I said earlier and trying to, sorry, that's illegal, and push on the centre and break all this centre off I've got. So like I said, my maid's next move was that. But it isn't terrible. You've got some activity towards the king. Maybe if this pawn went here, you could put the queen on there and get the bishop in behind it. That's why you need to break up the centre. I'm just going to do this, try and get the queen out. My maid goes across. I'm not a fan of this move. And the reason I'm not a fan of it is because it's very, very passive. In chess, you want to attack where you can. You want to develop them pieces. You want to, instead of that move, you want to go something like that and get it off its starting square, bring it out into the action, fight for this centre. But instead he chose this, which is a bit pointless, really, if I'm completely honest with myself. And it's pointless because I have no threat going on whatsoever towards this king. And all this is doing is allowing me to develop and create. So I'm just going to unpin myself. The queen's now free to move, should we say, a little bit. It can go there. We can have a little trade off if we want. We can drop it back. It's not too bad. No. My maid's move is backwards. He didn't need to go backwards at all, really. When I made this move, I understand the point. He's a little bit scared. And it's scared of me going, me taking, him covering, I take, and then opening up that file. So he does go back. It's an okay move, but it is, again, very defensive. And there's nothing going on in my half of the board. Now, if you look, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in the back line. Yes, I've got 3 myself. I've got a better foothold of the game, particularly centre. Is very bad for my opponent. I'm going to push. And the reason I'm pushing is because my opponent is not taking that centre, so I'm going to take it for myself. Now, here my opponent is saying, do you want to move your bishop? Are you going to drop back? Are you going to take? What are you going to do? And I could do this as well. Open up the king safety, but I don't have a follow-up to that, so it's not a great idea. So therefore, I'm just going to take. The idea of taking, now you might think, isn't that a blunder? You've got 2 pieces, and you've only got 1 defender, actually. And you're staring towards your queen. The queen can drop back there, and it's absolutely fine. Now, my maid does this. I understand it. He's trying to put some pressure on the king. The problem with this move is you're not developing your pieces towards the center, going like this, trying to instead of playing that, play this, go towards the center, or at least get the knight out. But as my mate did neither of those things, he went like this. Now, here I'm just going to push. And the reason I'm going to push is because now the bishop, very, very sadly, has no scope. Now, if we'd go back a move before he did that, he could have gone there and had an equal trade-off. If I go there, my mate's got a really brutal attack as well as this. And all of a sudden, I'd have to do that. So, yeah, it's not great. And I can't go there because obviously I'm walking into a fork. So, like I say, my mate completely misses the opportunity, which allows me to do that, make his bishop absolutely useless. My mate does this, blocking off the development of his knight and trying to attack the centre. Not a terrible idea. But if he does take it, I've got the knight. Let's me make a move. Let's just say I made this move. I didn't, by the way. And my mate went like this. I would just have that. Going back because he didn't do any of that. Sorry. I went like that. Now, there's only some of you are going, well, your knight can go there or there. Absolutely correct. But that's not the point, though. The point is it opens up the bishop to attack the queen. Unfortunately, my mate didn't see that and lost his queen. And even how he takes back is not great. He takes back with that. And the reason I'm saying that is not great is because this pawn can now never move. There is double pawns on the same file, and the rook is still in the corner. Now, had my mate, decided to take back with his knight, the difference between the position is the rook can move and there's no double pawns. So let's go back to how he did actually say, and then just to show you what I did, I grabbed the pawn and sent him. Mamé resigned. Now, if Mamé had have wanted to continue, his only move should have been this, because anything else just fails. If he'd have gone there to try and open up some scope, I would have gone there, forking these two. And overall, Mamé's biggest problem was he didn't develop his pieces fast enough, and he didn't try to control all the 4 key squares. But other than that, other than blundering his bishop, for a 900 he played really well. And I want to say, if you want to play me again, Mamé, I'm more than happy to. Use me as your teacher and ask me questions, because I've been where you are and I'm happy to help you. And that goes for anybody at all on my channel. So yeah, thank you for the game, and yeah, let's play again soon. Thank you for the game.